What's up guys, Putty here, and welcome back for another episode of Fallout New Vegas. In the last episode we got Corporal Betsy some treatment for her mental trauma, and we also arrived here at Camp Forlorn Hope. Well, we arrived here at Camp Mccarran. We arrived here a long time ago, but we learned from the leader here what's really going on. We learned a lot of problems, one of which was interrogating a prisoner, and we'll be doing that mostly this episode. But before we do, the reason why we came here in the first place really was to deliver an invoice to a doctor or a scientist of some kind. So that would be you, Thomas Hildern.
A pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Thomas Hildern, Director of Operations, OSI East. I presume you're here about Vault 22?
No. Actually, I have an invoice from you for you from Alice McLafferty.
From Alice? I'll see that she's paid right away. Crimson Caravan runs a tight operation. Even out here in the waste, wouldn't do to keep them waiting. Was there anything else, or were you just here about the invoice?
You mentioned Vault 22. I might be willing to help.
Wonderful. Straight to it then. Have you signed the release forms? No? Doesn't matter. We'll keep that to ourselves. Vault 22. Where to begin?
I'm listening.
Imagine, if you will, the wasteland in bloom. Vast fields of corn that grow from seeds and produce their bounty in the space of a month. Orchards of trees, their branches weighed halfway to the ground, hung with fat, ripe oranges, a harvest that could feed a city or a nation. And all this, requiring no more than a few drops of precious water, and the efforts of only a handful of human farmers. Impossible?
Nothing is impossible. I mean, there are geeks out there. I could do the job.
Precisely. Science has proven that truth 1,000 times over. But how many wasteland savages believe it? Present company accepted, of course. The bounty I described to you is no idle fantasy. It exists in primitive form only a few miles from where we stand. We need only reach out and unlock its secret. For that, the OSI needs you.
Tell me more.
Good. I thought I sensed the kindred soul in you, beneath the wasteland veneer. I believe that the inhabitants of Vault 22 unlock the secrets of vegetative growth. Plants are spilling from their gate. No one tends them. No one waters them. Yet they multiply and spread in all directions. Find the reason for this miraculous growth, and I promise you the OSI will see that you are generously compensated.
Alright, I'll do it.
Good. No need to check in with the NCR authorities. I can authorize your payment from OSI accounts. Vaults typically contain a server room on a lower level, where they would have backed up their research data. A computer room, you understand? Download all the information on the central server to your Pip-Boy, and you'll be certain to bring me any notes or samples that you find, won't you?
Anything else I should know?
I thought it was a fairly straightforward assignment. It's a simple question of retrieving the data, which shouldn't prove overly challenging. Downloading the data will be handled by your Pip-Boy. You might think of yourself as a mere means of conveyance. No insult intended, of course.
Alright then.
Best of luck to you. Not that you'll need it. You seem like a reasonably competent person.
Okie dokie. Who are you?
Hey. Did Dr. Hildern... This really isn't any of my business, but... Did he give you a job?
Yes, he asked me to get some data from Vault 22.
I shouldn't say anything. I know that. But you're not the first person Hildern sent out to the vault. There were a lot of mercs, one after another. None of them came back. Then about a week ago, there was a scientist, Keeley. She's unusual. Not the sort of person you'd expect, but she's an absolute genius, and he didn't mention her? Not even her name? Or any of the other mercs?
No, Hildern didn't mention anyone else.
But now he's hired you. Which means one of two things. Either he heard back from Keeley, and she failed, or he's given up on her. Listen, I make a fair wage, but I'm not rich. Not by any means. Maybe my kind of money wouldn't appeal to your average merc. But I'm willing to pay you if you'll find Keeley and make sure she's safe. Isn't right leaving her out there. No idea if she's alive or dead.
Alright, I'll look for her.
I had a good feeling about you. Moment you walked in. I mean it.
Goodbye.
Right, good luck.
I'm gonna have another chat with bloody Hildern.
Yes? Something else you needed?
I'm not the first person you've sent to Vault 22, am I?
I never said you were. You've been speaking to Williams, haven't you?
No, Williams didn't tell me anything.
All right, I'll take you at your word. Williams didn't say anything at all. You just came to this conclusion on your own.
Damn right.
No, you aren't the first person I've sent to the vault. I'm sorry that I neglected to tell you, but I don't see how it makes any difference.
How many others have you sent to the vault?
I'd have to consult my records. 8? 10? Your point is what?
It doesn't trouble you that you've sent 8 or 10 people to their deaths?
I have no evidence that they're dead. 1,000 things could have happened between here and the vault. They could have changed their minds and walked away. I wouldn't be much of a scientist if I leapt to conclusions without proof.
I want double the caps, or I spread the word that you're full of shit.
All right. I'll admit that it's been difficult to find anyone willing to enter the vault. And I'd rather get the data sooner than later. You have a deal. I'll double your reward if you bring me the data. But this is as high as my budget will allow. Now, I know your time is valuable, so I won't waste any more of it. Feel free to show yourself out.
Okie dokie. That was an interesting confrontation. We'll get around to doing that quest next episode. Yeah, next episode? Maybe the episode after, but we will get around to doing that quest very soon. First of all, let's head up and start interrogating. Yay! This quest that we're about to start, the interrogation one, if Boone is with you, it can trigger multiple things for his side, his companion quest. So, if you're doing this, you might want to bring Boone with you.
Boyd's in there with a prisoner right now. Boy, is she pissed. Boyd's in there with a prisoner right now.
Okie dokie.
Boy, is she pissed.
Let's have a chat with Lieutenant Boyd then. Hello.
What is it, soldier?
Who are you?
Not big on reading name tags, huh? That's okay. My name is long and difficult to pronounce. Ready for it? It's Boyd. Lieutenant Boyd to my friends. Colonel Shu has me handling the policing duties for the base. I've told him he could make my job a whole lot easier if he would just let me shoot anyone who talks back to me. But you know how colonels can be.
Do you need any help?
Sorry, this is state business what I'm working on. You'd have to do a lot more NCR ass-kissing before they'd let you help me with this one.
So, here's a funny thing. If you're wearing the NCR ranger outfit, if you look like a ranger, you actually have less bloody influence with the NCR as I do on my own.
You're back.
Do you need any help?
Yeah, so far this has gone exactly as expected. Poorly. But with the work you've done for NCR already, you might be just what I've been looking for. We captured an honest-to-God centurion of Caesar's Legion recently.
Is that a big deal?
Better believe it. Everybody in Caesar's Legion, from Caesar on down, will kill themselves before they can be captured. They're so twitchy they'd probably do it if you reached out to hug them. But here's this guy, who's an elite commander in their army, and he just gives himself up, even as his men are slitting their own throats around him.
What do you think it means?
Well, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like a man who's willing to cooperate. Except he hasn't. Only times he speaks up are to insult you. He's a real prick, by the way. And I'm supposed to get information out of this guy.
Why don't you just beat your prisoner senseless?
I like the way you think. Have I said that yet? Problem is that the NCR frowns on using that sort of tactic. There are some restrictions still in place from President Tandy's administration.
I love Tandy.
But here's my favorite thing
I love
about
Tandy.
you. You're not in the NCR. Plus, for all this guy knows, you're completely insane. That's a winning combination.
I love Tandy, by the way. She is my favorite NCR president. So, you want me to do what you can't.
I think if you rough him up enough, and really put some fear into him, he'll sing like a choir boy. So let's do this. When you're ready, I'll go in and give you a little intro. Then I leave the room, and you make him regret the day he was born. We go back and forth a couple times until either he talks or he can't move his jaw anymore. Either way, we've had our entertainment for the day.
I object to the use of violence against prisoners of war, I'm afraid.
Ah, tear my heart out, why don't you? Well, maybe you can find a way to play with his mind. Get him out of his comfort zone.
That I
People
can do.
lose their heads and say things they regret. Especially if they underestimate you. This dickhead would underestimate a nuclear missile. Plenty of ways to skin a cat, as they say. Hey, what if we skinned him? Bet he wouldn't be so smug then.
Okay, let's get started.
That's the spirit. Okay, I'll go in and have a word with him. Then I'll call you in.
Okie dokie. I'm probably gonna have to bloody give up my weapons for this. By the way, this wall texture
Long
is
time
so
no
good.
see, Celus.
Lieutenant, I was just thinking about you.
That's so.
I was just thinking about that pretty neck of yours.
How sweet.
I was thinking about how it would look with a Legion slave collar on it.
I'll pass.
Do you know what I love about our slave collars, Lieutenant?
If you love them, maybe you should try one on.
I love how tightly they fit. I train my men to make sure the slave's flesh bulges a bit around the top and bottom. Know why?
It's all the rage in fashion circles?
Not quite. If you fit it just right, their body never gets used to the feeling of wearing it. It cuts in just enough when they swallow or turn their head to remind them who they belong to. And it's that constant reminder that keeps them docile.
In that case, maybe you'd better save the collar you were gonna give me.
Oh? For whom?
For a friend of mine you're about to meet. My friend isn't very docile.
And who is this friend of yours?
You know all the rules the NCR instituted to protect enemy prisoners of war?
Of course.
My friend doesn't. Oh, and Celus, if you resist at all, I'll personally blow your brains out. Come on in, he's all yours.
Thank you
I'll
very
be
much.
back in a bit to see how you're getting along. And I'll need you to surrender your weapons before you go in. You can pick them up from the locker on your way out.
Okie dokie.
What an ugly little worm you are. What pile of excrement did the lieutenant pluck you from, worm?
I think you're confused. I'm with the excrement right now.
You must have some reason to be in your line of work. Tell me, what did the Legion do to you? Did we enslave your children? Slaughter your family before your eyes to teach you a lesson? Whatever it was, I hope I was there to give the order.
You miss giving orders. Now all your men are dead.
Foot soldiers of the Legion are trained not to have to think for themselves, to have conflict removed from their minds. They kill themselves to evade capture because they are not trusted to make such a decision rationally in the heat of battle. But I'm no foot soldier. I knew I could escape captivity on my own without revealing the tiniest iota of information to my captors.
Sounds to me like you're just too gutless to follow Kaisar's orders.
I'll show you gutless, you sniveling bastard. I'll spill your guts all over this room.
Is something the matter, Celus? You look upset. Here, maybe you'd better step out for a moment. You've upset him.
Your friend is a miserable fucking degenerate.
I don't know. I thought he seemed like a nice guy.
If we were on the other side of the river, I'd have him torn apart by dogs.
That's a long walk, Celus. I don't think it's gonna happen. You'd better just talk.
Your tactics are a joke.
If you don't like dealing with me, I can bring my friend back in.
Both of you can rot.
Have it your way. Come on back in. I think he misses you.
We don't have anything to discuss, worm.
But I want to know how a coward can attain the rank of Centurion.
Coward? I've faced odds that would make your NCR soldiers wet themselves. I've led charges against men with guns, carrying only my knife. And I can tell you, it was they who feared me. But suicide is a weak death on a battlefield. It says to your enemy that you fear capture. It says if you're caught, you can be broken.
So, you were unafraid to cut any throat but your own.
You think I'm going to slit my throat for some megalomaniacal self-appointed dictator? I didn't work my way up to have it all be taken from me out of some irrational paranoia. Kaisar's losing it. I believe that. He's been shutting himself in his tent. Privately, he complains of headaches. Whatever it is, it's affecting his ability to lead.
What? Could that be a tumor? Continue listening.
Time was essential for my mission, but we waited 3 days for him to dispatch us. Another of his headaches. Does that sound like a man in command? He has an operative planted in this very base, but does he use his agent to rescue me? No. He's content to have the agent spend his nights radioing troop positions back to our base camp. He knows I'm here, and he's left me to rot.
Who's the operative?
I don't know. I know he sends intelligence by radio in the middle of the night. Sometimes that intelligence would find its way to my cantery.
See, don't you feel better now you've divulged all of those state secrets?
I hope the Legion burns your wretched body at the stake when they conquer this place.
I won't be here.
Nothing I could tell you would do anything to stop that.
I won't be here.
You did well. I don't know how you did it without putting a scratch on him, and I'm a little disappointed personally, but it saved the NCR some face. And it could save us more than that when all is said and done. I'm gonna talk to some people when we're through here. This is about double the standard fee we'd give a consultant, but from what I saw, you're more of an artist. So think of this as your commission.
Thank you.
Yep. See you around. You're back.
No, I'm not. Alrighty then, I'm going to end the episode off here. I know it was quite a short one. We're going to end up having quite a few short episodes over the next, 10 parts, because, well, except for the Vault 22 one, because we're just going to be doing, single quests, hopefully maybe doubles, depending on if I can stretch a single quest into 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.